If things are hard on this path, I will ask you, are you really flowing? Are you on the right path? Some of us have gotten on paths from other people, and those paths have nothing to do with us. We're on a hard path, and we don't even know why stuff got hard. And God is just looking at you saying, that's not even the path I had for you from the beginning. You got on it because that was the path Keisha had. And Keisha started making you do stuff she was doing. So now you're on this path, but that path had nothing to do with your purpose. Which is why it's so important for you to listen to God, for you to know God's voice so that you are obedient, so you can live a soft life, sis. I want that for you. I want that for you. And you just got to know that the hustle and bustle ain't it. God's alignment and being in his will is where you want to be. That's the soft life. Welcome. Welcome, friend, to the soft life.
Moments where his glory shines. Yeah.
Welcome to 225 Moments with me, MNicole. Friend, I am so happy that you're here. This is a space of empowerment and encouragement inspired by Joel 2:25, where God promises to restore years that the locust has eaten. You'll find stories of restoration, transformation, and God's faithfulness, where he's taken us from loss to abundance. On this episode, we're going to talk about when obedience looked like a loss, right? Oftentimes we feel, the tugging spiritually, like God is leading you somewhere. He's telling you to do something and then you do it. And then you feel like you're empty handed. You're like, whoa, I didn't know that this is what this really meant. But I would tell you, in God's mathematical equation, how he does things is not a loss, honey. It is a seed of legacy, right? And so when you start thinking about the areas in which God has given you direction, if he's giving you a word, a tugging, say you went to church and you sitting in church and something just really stands out to you, God starts speaking to you, and then you start operating that in church, and they'll make it look like it's all bells and whistles. Like, oh, God is gonna open up his windows of heaven and throw you out a blessing you won't have room to receive, and you just shouting all over the place. Ooh, hallelujah. Sounds good, right? Well, when you start walking in it, it doesn't always feel that way. Sometimes you look at it and you're like, God, are you there? Did you leave me? You start looking at things and scenarios, wondering if you're in the right place. Are you on the right path? Right? You start asking yourself these things. So here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to dive into this today because oftentimes we got to understand that it's much bigger than what we're feeling. Because if we go on our emotions aren't real. Your emotions can fool you because sometimes we want stuff to always feel good. But I would tell you, in obedience, you're planting seeds. And those seeds are purposeful. It is a reason God is telling you to move forward and plant those seeds. A lot of times it's areas that we don't even see. I'll tell you, the greatest blessings I've received in my life, they had nothing to do with the bigger vision. God didn't give me a vision to say, oh, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. He didn't give me the big vision. He only told me to go. He's only told me this is where you should be. You should have moments where you start feeling like, you know what? This is where I should be. I don't know the rest of the story, but I know right now I'm in the right place. It feels funny. It's lonely, right? Sometimes it's lonely. You're looking around for people, folks to understand you, and they don't. And then to start feeling in that loneliness, you start second guessing yourself. Is this truly where I'm supposed to be? I'm here, sis, to tell you, yes, you're exactly where God told you to be. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Here's something else. Obedience. Following God, listening to God, being connected to God. It is a sacrifice. And you heard this when you were younger. Obedience is better than sacrifice. We think in our head obedience meaning we're listening to God, God got us covered, we're just going to prepare forward. But no, the sacrifice means that it is a seed that you're putting in the ground. Now, when you put this seed in the ground, you got to have a whole lot of faith to know that whatever it is, God is going to supply. Because it's not going to appear. When you put a seed in the ground, it's just a seed. You're burying something that you had in physical form that you want to come up and give you a harvest, right? And in that harvest, you got to believe that God is going to do that. And that alone is obedience. Have you ever been in a place where God told you to do something? You're like, wait a minute, what? You had to second guess it. I remember a lady joined Manifestation Circus about 3 years ago, and she sacrificed and joined. And when she joined, she didn't tell us nothing about she didn't have a job, none of that. She joined. She just sacrificed to join the community. And so we was excited to have her. And then so in the midst of her going through and having, conversations with her first week, she said, I lost my job about a month ago and da da da. She started telling her story. So I was like, man, that's so amazing that she stepped out on faith. And in the midst of that, God started to arrest me and he said, do her resume. Do her resume. And I was like, I got way too much going on. Like, I knew I was about to be married. I knew that I was planning a wedding. I knew I had tons of stuff. I was getting ready to even go to surgery. I was moving. I had a lot of stuff going on. And I was like, I just stopped the pause. It was like, really, God? Like, you want me to do her resume when I have so much on my plate? In my head, listen, when God tells us to do stuff, we'll be trying to negotiate with God and give him a reason why this ain't what he really wants us to do. We do. I was thinking to myself, like, God, who gonna help me? You sending somebody? You sending somebody to help me? I really felt that way, right? So I went ahead, I did a resume. I didn't even think about it anymore. I said, okay, after my tussle, I don't like to tussle with God, but I had a few little words, okay? And so I did a resume and I sent her a message. I said, hey, when you get a chance, send me your resume. I did a resume like in a day. I think I did it maybe in like a few hours. I sent it back to her. I said, here's your new resume. And then I gave her all these tips that she should do. Because I had a resume writing company for over 25 years. I don't really like writing resumes anymore, so I don't advertise it, but I'm great at it. Okay, some things you can be great at don't mean you're supposed to be operating in that. All right, but I did extend my expertise to help her. So, mind you, she had been unemployed for about maybe a month or so. And so I did a resume. And of course, I'm praying over it that God opened up doors. So she had to come back to me and she had three offers. Three offers within a week of me doing this new resume. Now, mind you, at the time, it was a sacrifice for me because I'm thinking I have way too much on my plate to stop and do anything. But I didn't listen. After my little back and forth, I was just all right. Let me knock this out because I can. I start giving myself positive affirmations, child. You can do this. You can do this. You got it. You got it. Knock it out. So anyway, I'm talking to her and she get these offers. And so we come back together to kind of really think through what was the best offer. And so she went forth with that. The beauty of it was that I was able to help her in her season to land new employment. Now, I don't know where she would have been had she not joined Manifestation Circle, but I believe in my obedience that I had to sacrifice, I was able to bless her. Now, what do you think happened in reference to my harvest? So I believe in the midst of me blessing her and sowing into her, God was making my harvest even more plentiful. Not that it's going to come the same way that the blessings that I sow. See, I think we spend way too much time trying to dissect where our blessings are coming from. We're saying to ourselves, oh, it's going to come from here. I remember when I did this for her, she should do it for me. No, no, no. Your blessings doesn't come that way. That's only a seed. The obedience of me doing it was a seed to my harvest, whether she did anything after that or not. I was obedient. I was able to give and sow into her. And in the midst of that, I cannot tell you the doors, the things that God has given me. You know what's so crazy? I operate in this energy so that I can't even pinpoint what blessing God tied to that seed. See, your life should be such in obedience of doing God's will that you don't have this one hit wonder. When you meet people and they're able to one hit wonder they blessings, meaning that, oh, I gave to this person in the next week, this person gave to me, that's good. But what about all the other days? How were you living? Were you living intentionally the other days? Were you sowing intentionally the other days? Because only thing that does is keep you in an abundant cycle. You know, people always ask, how do you stay blessed? What is it that you do? What is the secret that you do to stay blessed? You know, it's always blessing season when you sow good seeds. Nobody can sow seeds for you, and you can't sow seeds for other people. Your seeds are personal. If I sowed a seed for you, God is going to honor the fact that I sowed a seed for you, and it's going to help my harvest. But the seeds you have on your harvest come from you, whether they are physical, tangible, they're still spiritual, they're still seeds. So you don't ever want to abort the ability to give and sow good seeds. And like I said, I look back at everything, and even after that, and I say to myself, well, what was it that God did for me? Listen, I could probably tell you a heap of a lot, but because I live my life in this light, I don't have a one-to-one relationship on here's the seed, here's the blessings. It's always my season. God is always blessing me because I sow good seeds. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't have moments where you want to challenge whether or not it's God, because sometimes we have to do that. We stay in our head, so we don't even know if it's God talking or if it's us talking. Sometimes our emotions can psych us to make us believe that it's God. But I would just tell you, if you know it's God, and how you will know is when it just continuously comes. See, sometimes God knows that you being away, so he'll give it to you, and then you be like, nah, I ain't listening to that. He'll give it to you again. You're like, I don't know. He'll give it to you again. So if you're experiencing such a reoccurrence of things that's tugging at you, that's God. God know you. He know you better than me. And he know for a fact, he knows what you need. You got to trust that and know that obedience is better than sacrifice. And it might feel hard. The first point, I'm just telling you that you're not going to wake up and just have this easy breezy, beautiful cover girl moment. It's going to feel like, what? It's going to feel like a what? And if it feels like a what, obedience is better than sacrifice, friend. Every act of obedience is aligned to God's supply. Remember, I just told you, if you're walking in this energy, it's not a one-to-one seed to blessing relationship. It's a one-to-many. When you're walking in this energy, it's a one-to-many. Listen, I know I sow good seeds and many blessings come and overtake me. And you got to know that if God is tugging at you to sow a seed or tugging at you to do whatever it is in that moment that is a seed to someone else or a seed to yourself, right? Just know that he's already made provision on the other side of that. Sometimes God will give us the nudge to sow seeds because he knows what's in our path. He knows we're about to face something different and we're going to need this seed. This seed is a different type of seed that we're going to need along the way. So the moment you start aborting what God tells you because you want to keep feeling good, just know that you are aborting the tools that he's trying to give you on your path that you're going to need later. Now, you don't know everything that you're going to need. As smart as you are, as cute as you are, you don't know everything. Absolutely not. But God do. He know exactly what you need when you need it. And because obedience is better than sacrifice, just know that his supply is better than any supply that you can think or name. I don't care who it is. I don't care what they say and how they do it. It doesn't mean that they're going to beat God's supply. When I was a little girl, we used to have this little saying at church all the time. We used to say, you can't beat God's giving, no matter how hard you try. You can't beat God's giving no matter how hard you try. Think about the people who think they can do all these things in your life and buy you all these things. Listen, your seeds is even better than that. I don't care if somebody bought you a new Birkin. I don't care if somebody bought you a new Louis. God's seeds is greater than that. So in the midst of your obedience and you going forward and doing what God tells you to do, just keep in mind that it's for a reason. If you understand it's for a reason, and in my obedience, God's supply is going to outbeat anything that I'm going to need. You can do it with ease, friend. You can walk forward with ease. You can sow with ease. You're going to say, you know what? This don't feel good. Really don't have it. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. It doesn't mean you always don't have money. Sometimes we equate seeds to money, especially when it comes to church. We think that, oh, we got to keep sowing seeds as our money. No, sometimes the greatest seed is your time. Where you are sowing your time, right? Just know that whatever that is, God will supply. He's already made provision on the other half of it. He's waiting for you to go. He's waiting for you to do it. He's waiting for you to be obedient. And in the midst of that, oh, you talking about blessings going to overtake you. But make sure, as you're being obedient with the seeds or whatever it is God is asking you to do, make sure that your spirit is right when you do it. We used to say this when I was in church. Make sure you are a cheerful giver. God loves a cheerful giver. It doesn't always mean that you're giving this money. It's you're giving your time to people. You helping people. If you helping people grudgingly, what do you think is going to happen to your seed? First off, the fact that God is tugging at me to sow this seed, how dare I put myself in the forefront to have emotions about it? And then get an attitude and do it grudgingly. If you're going to do it grudgingly, don't do it. Don't do it. It's worse than you doing nothing at all. I absolutely would despise anybody who decided to give grudgingly, because I know nothing else is coming on behind that. They'll be wondering why stuff constantly is going wrong in their life. Well, when was the last time you did something cheerful that God told you to do? Ask yourself that. When I'm operating and moving, when am I doing it from a cheerful place? Are people drawn to your spirit because of your cheerfulness? Or are you always mad and you look like somebody's about to get on your nerves and everything is always a problem? If you find yourself with the problem, I will ask you to go look at the seeds you've sown. Sometimes the seeds we sow are grudge seeds, right? We've given them from a grudge place, grudgingly. Can I get that out? What happens is it happens automatically. And why do you think that happens automatically? Because of the environment. See, it don't feel bad when I'm sowing from a grudge perspective or grudgingly when I have someone around me that is a Scrooge, that has a bad spirit or that's carrying negative energy. It look like it go with them. So because it go with them, you'll start saying to yourself, oh, I could just do that. I'll just do that for them. It don't matter. Which is why it's so important for you to watch your environment. Remember, I talked about that. So here you are, you're sowing grudge seeds because you're around grudge people. It's hard for you to sow bad seeds when you're around good people. If you are one of those people that, just got in the pickle, didn't really care, and you just start sowing bad seeds and you didn't care, I would tell you there are some things you still need to work through. It's hard. It's hard to sow bad seeds around good people. It's hard to sow bad seeds to people who have sown good seeds to you. So when you find yourself in situations where people are doing you wrong and you've done them nothing but good, you know what? That's some stuff that they got to work through. And those seeds that they sown, as bad seeds towards you, it has nothing to do with you. And this is why you have to make sure your path is clean. You have to make sure the seeds you sow is clean. Don't allow someone else's seeds to contaminate your seeds. Then that's when your disobedience is not even in alignment with God. God told you to do XYZ. Don't let other people get in the way of your seeds, get in the way of your legacy. Obedience breaks cycles faster than any hustle could. I know you listen, we got this super hustle mentality, especially with women. We feel like, oh, we gotta boss up, boss this, boss that. Oh, it's everywhere. Where the woman has to be so strong and she have to be this super hustle mania, like, I'm Rick Ross, got you carrying that type of energy, right? Well, what happens is you start to believe your grind more than God's word. So what happens when you need things that's beyond the hustle? Don't let the grind fool you, because the hustle could never match what God has for you. And listen, you should be at the point of your life where you are tired of hustling. Hustle means you got a whole lot of work that you're doing. You're grinding hard. When you think about something that's grinding, it's working pretty hard. I don't know about you, but I am so far removed from the hustle life, from the grind life. I want to flow in the spirit that God has me to flow. It's an easier life. People love to talk about this soft life. Oh, I'm living a soft life because I have an amazing man. Listen, no, that's great. Don't get me wrong, because I have an amazing husband. But I would tell you, my soft life came into play when I started listening to God to allow Him to flow in my life on the path of alignment. Here I am on the path of alignment, and things are flowing for me. And because they are flowing for me, guess what? I'm living a softer life because I don't have to pull. I don't have to tug. I don't have to sit up at night and figure it out. I don't have to do all these numbers and kill myself trying to work towards these goals, when God's alignment far exceeds any hustle. See, don't be fooled, because people will tell you all these things. But I would tell you, the moment that you're in alignment with God, there is no greater place to be. All the connections you need, God will put you in the right places in the connections, but you got to listen. You got to listen and be obedient to what He has for you. And I promise you, things will flow. Don't be confused by the things you're seeing in the world that's keeping you away from being in the path of alignment. If things are hard on this path, I will ask you, are you really flowing? Are you on the right path? Some of us have gotten on paths from other people, and those paths have nothing to do with us. Nothing. We're on a hard path, but we don't even know why stuff got hard. And God is just looking at you saying, that's not even the path I had for you from the beginning. You got on it because that was the path Keisha had. And Keisha started making you do stuff she was doing. So now you're on this path, but that path had nothing to do with your purpose. Which is why it's so important for you to listen to God, for you to know God's voice, so that you are obedient, so you can live a soft life, sis. I want that for you. I want that for you. And you just got to know that the hustle and bustle ain't it. God's alignment and being in His will is where you want to be. That's the soft life. Welcome. Welcome, friend, to the soft life. Listen, obedience may feel like loss, but it's not. It might feel uncomfortable for a moment. And I can't tell you it's not uncomfortable, because likely it is. You may feel yourself walking into unfamiliar places because of obedience, but I would tell you it's better than sacrifice. God will give you everything you need. You may even say to yourself, it's lonely. How am I listening to God and I'm lonely, but he's there. Being in alignment on the path he has everything you need. Don't get so caught up in your emotions that you forget that you're on a path of alignment. You may feel like you're walking away from something, but you're really walking into what God has for you. You might feel like whatever was in your hand, you had to let it go. But in your hand, you're really opening that up to receive. God has so much in store for you. And so going forward in obedience is going to be way more powerful in your life than anything that you can ask for or think. I am happy for you, friend. I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy that you're receiving. I'm happy that you are walking intentionally through God's power of restoration, and he has you on this path of alignment. And I promise you, everything that you need is there. Is there even when it's quiet? He's still there. Even when things don't look like they should. Keep going, sis. He's there. And obedience isn't lost. Obedience isn't lost. It's seeds in the ground. All right. I pray that this moment blessed you. This is 225 Moments with me, MNicole. And your 225 moment is I want you to ask at 225 of the day for God to restore your courage. I want God to restore your faith, to trust him that whatever it is that he has for you, that you know that God will always have your best interests at heart. He will never leave you or forsake you. And I pray that his restoration power comes in and arrests you. It arrests you to walk boldly in alignment to where he has you to be, friend. I'm so happy for you. And thank you so much for being here. This again is 225 Moments with me, MNicole. Listen, you'll find us on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you listen to your podcast, you'll find us there. And remember, this is 225.